Hey everyone, Leslie Nicole here with French Kiss Collections. Today I'm going to show you how to use one of these frames from the Memories frame set. We're going to be demonstrating with the tattered frame, and the final will look like this. Alright, so first I have this texture, or you can call it a digital paper, and I've made it to look somewhat like an old weathered photo album page. That was sort of the idea for this texture. And we're going to be using this tattered frame, the piece of tape, and one of my own rose images using a French kiss texture as well. Let's come back to this frame. Let me talk about the frame a little bit. We have this additional grunge layer at the top that you can turn on and off. You can also change the opacity or the blend mode of that. We have the frame layer. We have a photo mask layer, and the drop shadow is a custom drop shadow. Let me put a background here so you can see things better. Let's put a white background. The drop shadow is a custom lifted drop shadow, and you can change the opacity on that. Also, the alignment of all these layers is very critical. So if you look over here in the layer panel, you see this little chain link on each of the layers. You want to make sure you never turn that off because the alignment is critical on this. And the only way you'd turn that off is you'd have to come down here and actually turn it off here. So you're probably not going to do that, but I just thought I should mention that. Alright, let's drag this over to the photo background. I'm going to grab all those layers. I held down Shift while I selected all the layers. And then with my Move tool selected, by either holding down V on the keyboard, or it's this top icon in the tool palette, we're going to drag this over to the texture. I'm holding down Shift before I place it, and that way it gets placed centered on the background. Okay, to place your image, you want to select the layer that says Photo Mask. So make sure that layer is selected. Then come over here, get your image, drag it over onto the template file. I'm going to hold down Shift again on that. And now I want to turn off the layer that says Your Photo Here. I turn that off and then select my image layer, and now I can move that around without changing the mask and without any of the image overflowing the edges. I can even resize it. Hit Command or Control on the PC, T. Hold down Shift to constrain the proportions. Select one of the corner handles, and then you can drag it around to get the size and position that you wanted. You could also actually rotate as well if you wanted to. Actually, I kind of like that. I'm going to do that. And then hit Enter. Now that I've got my image placed, I could do a little fine tuning. Now on this additional grunge layer, you don't see it as much on this image because it has a pretty light background. You'd see it better with an image with darker background, but if I increase the opacity here, you can see that it is lightening those edges. You'd see the actual grunge better, like I said, with a darker image. And in fact, on this one, I think I'm going to change it from screen to multiply to give me a little bit of darkness on my edges there. And my drop shadow layer, since it's a dark background, I might want to bump that up a little bit, the opacity, just so you can see a little bit better. Alright, now I'm going to go over and grab the tape and drag it in. And let's actually need to put that up above all my other layers. And then I'm going to decrease the opacity to about 80% so you can see a little bit of the frame and texture showing through the tape. Okay, well I hope that shows you just how easy it is to use these layered TIFF files for these frames.